When starting out your game, the very first thing you should be doing is getting enough points to open doors to head to the courtyard so that you can feed zombie souls to your first dragon. Once you turn on the power, you're going to want to head straight to the disco room to feed your second dragon. And then finally, go straight downstairs to go ahead and feed your third dragon. After you're done with that, you can head up to the tomb and you can swap out one of your weapons for the Wrath of the Ancients. Now you're going to have to upgrade to any bow in this tutorial. I'll show you how to do lightning. Shoot the rooster on top of the compass that I just did, and you're going to obtain your arrow right here. Now you're going to have to shoot 3 fire pits that are outside of the map with your Wrath of the Ancients. The first one is going to be in this little corner right here next to the clock tower, and you'll know you'll hit it correctly when it goes up in flames. Then you can just run right over here to go ahead and find the next one. This one is definitely a little harder to hit, so take your time. Make sure to get a crawler if it's taking you a while. For the last one, you're going to have to go downstairs through the teleporter, and once you walk outside, it'll be right to the right. Now, once you do this step, you are going to have to go back to the pyramid, where you're going to have to step on all 4 of these blue stepping stones to activate anti-gravity. And while anti-gravity is active, you're going to want to take my route to step on these 5 blue wind symbols that are on the wall. You're going to have to wall run over all of them. Now you're going to find 3 electrified lanterns. 1 is going to be inside of the clock tower, 1 is going to be in the room above double tap, and 1 is at the opposite side of the teleporter at the rocket launch area. Get 6 zombie eliminations near the lantern so that you can charge your bow, and your bow will get an electrified effect on it. And using this electrified effect, you are going to hit all 3 of the log pillars again, and you'll know you did it correctly when it turns into fire and lightning. Go back to where you got the arrow and interact with this lightning. That was where the arrow was, and after this brief animation, you are able to pick up a new arrow. Go back downstairs to the pyramid room and interact with this specific box to put your arrow in, and once you get 20 zombie kills, you are able to now upgrade your regular bow to the lightning bow. Now put the lightning bow back and go grab another regular bow. Then you are going to shoot all of the prongs on the teleporter until they turn gold, and once you hear this roar, then you are going to start the Wisp step. Now pick up your upgraded bow again and follow me to these 8 locations where the Wisp might potentially be. Going straight upstairs, at first we have this radio on top of these little computers, and then in the same room we have this clock up here. Now if you rush up the set of stairs right here to the right when you enter, it can also be on that clock. Once you enter the power room, you can see it on this phone that I'm shooting at right here. And then we can rush over to Samantha's room, where you can see that it can be on this globe that I'm shooting at. Then we can go to the room above double tap, where it'll be on top of that crate. And then we can jump right down, and there's actually going to be another one very close by on this car tire. And if it's not at any of those locations, you can be sure that it's at the phone right next to Quick Revive. Now, quick tip, when you find your first Wisp, the location is going to be completely random. However, from that point forward, the Wisp will always spawn at one of the 2 closest locations from where you last shot the Wisp. So as you saw, I got the power room location, so that means it's either going to be at the radio or on Samantha's globe, and as you can see, I got it on Samantha's globe. Once you get all 4 locations correct, you are going to hear a completion sound, and then you are going to want to run down to the teleporter. It's going to be purple if you did it correctly. Now, once you teleport to the past, there are 3 things that you're going to want to do. Go to the left and grab this blue jar. Go to the right and grab these 2 items off of this box. Then go to Dr. Groff and remember the 3-digit code that he inputs into this safe. Then you're going to have to go back to the death ray, insert one of the parts into the back of the death ray, switch it from destroy to protect, and then activate the death ray if you haven't already. Go over here and input the code that you saw in Dr. Groff's lab. Now once you go back down to the lab, you're going to see that it opened and you can collect these parts. Back at the death ray, you can put in this missing object, and then you can switch the ray from protect to destroy. Now you can go back to the rocket test area and interact with the computer to go ahead and play Simon Says. Remember where each symbol is. I remember the symbols by rocket, soccer, lightning, and circle. That's how it's aligned in my game. In your game, it's not going to be aligned the same. Just keep making sure to interact with the same symbol that is on the screen. When you're done with that part, you're going to get a success noise from the computer, which after that, you're going to have to do the Wisp step again. And then once you're done with the Wisp, go to the teleporter again, and then go to the right and interact with the chronorium right here. That's going to open up this box right here, and you are going to take this slab from the box. Then you can go back to the clock tower computer and do Simon Says on that one. Note that if you fail on this computer, you will have to go back to the rocket to do Simon Says and then come back and do this computer again. If you do fail it and end up having to do it again, I highly recommend saving the last zombie of the round to go ahead and easily do both of these. When that Simon Says is done and all the parts are in place, you will see that both of the balls of the death ray are white. Interact with the back of the machine and it will zap Dempsey down from the rocket. While that's happening, you can go back down to the double tap area and insert the slab that we had took from the past. Go ahead back to the courtyard and take this device to where you will be placing it inside the tomb, to which you will awaken a keeper's ghost that you have to follow around the map. Occasionally he will stop and spawn a white circle. When you go inside of this white circle, there will be a tint around you correlating to what bow you need to use to kill the zombies. Obviously this only correlates to co-op games. If you're playing solo, then you can just use the same exact bow for all 4 of the circles. After all 4 circles, he will go inside the MPD, he will disappear for a moment and then bring it back with 3 soul jars, at which you will have the 4th one that you have to place in yourself. Now everybody in the lobby has to place their Ragnaroks at the same time on each individual blue square to start the boss fight. The first Ragnarok part you will get from killing your first Panzer. The second part you have to wait for a rocket launch to start, at which once the countdown starts you are going to press this button when it turns from red to green and run inside to the safe spot. Survive until this computer turns completely green and you can interact with it, and the next Ragnarok part will spawn inside of the teleporter. The last part can be obtained by using the death ray, and once the effect of the death ray ends, you will actually be able to see the Ragnarok part in the sky somewhere. And all you have to do to get this part is take the correct jump pad, and now you can build your Ragnaroks. To make the boss fight as simple as possible, all you have to do is dodge and avoid attacks until you see the lightning ball in the middle. Place your Ragnaroks in the lightning ball, and eventually the keeper will have a orange weak spot on his chest, and you just have to spam tap shots into his chest. After that happens, he's going to disappear for a while and a bunch of panzers are going to spawn. I recommend using the Pack-a-Punched KRM to eliminate the panzers. It makes light work of these guys. Don't forget to pick up your Ragnaroks once the charge is done. And once you do all those steps 2 more times, you will have finally beaten the boss fight for the Eisendrache. When you spawn back on the main map, go ahead and interact with the summoning key, and then go ahead and interact with it again to take it out. And then you are going to go to the computer. And once you place the summoning key on the computer, congratulations, you have beaten the Eisendrache Easter egg.